Hello everyone, I am Julian Morris with the Channel 5 News. In the headlines, Minister for Family and Gender Affairs appeals to parents to stop enabling negative behavior in their children. 30,000 banana plantlets expected this month could help restore the acreages lost through natural disasters. And Dominica signs agreement to preserve its trade preferences with the UK. The details coming up.
Imagine you have Hollywood at your command. Introducing Flow Evil.
Red cheese, gold rings, all black, everything creeping through the night.
Anywhere you are.
Big girls don't scream hard like Halloween, make me feel alive.
There's a world of entertainment here, and you run the show. Flow Evil.
Here are some tips to reduce mosquito presence in and around your home. Keep water storage containers properly covered. Remove containers that can collect water from your surroundings. Keep garbage bins tightly covered. Pick up your litter and remove all tires from your yard. Keep gutters free of leaves and twigs to prevent stagnant water. Prevent Zika, dengue, and chikungunya. Fight the bite. This is a public service announcement from the Dominica Red Cross.
This message is supported by Flow. 400 acres of banana and plantain have been lost through the passage of natural disasters here. Andrea Louis has our report.
That's according to a representative of the Banana Management Unit in the Ministry of Agriculture, Carol Abraham. Abraham says before the major storm, Dominica could boast of close to 3,000 acres of the crops.
As far as Primaria, we were about 2,800 acres, banana planting and mixed plots that we were spraying and, monitoring. The bulk of the bananas are in the central region, the northeast, and the majority of and Lapland. The majority of the island is planting, so we have a lot more plantains than bananas. We lost about 400 acres, so what we were spraying dropped drastically. And of course, you will have to start back with your suckers, etc.
As regards spraying the remaining fields to keep the crop healthy, Abraham says the country now has enough chemicals to keep the spray cycle going into the next year.
Government continues to spray, so we have just recently brought in enough chemicals for a whole year's cycle, whole year, okay, which we attempt to spray every month. We don't go this every 2 weeks business. I mean, we have to follow what the science says because the fungus gets resistant very quickly and it's not recommended for black sigatoka to be spraying so often. We want to implore the farmers to do their part, okay, the leafing, etc. And then we come in.
Abraham also revealed that the 30,000 banana plantlets expected from France should arrive on island this month.
In terms of the bananas that we were expecting from France, we had to delay it because we had issues with our hardening facilities, but we expect that by April we should be getting the 30,000 of the CV902s and the bamboo that was expected.
Minister for Gender and Family Affairs has placed a special emphasis on the linkages between child protection and juvenile justice. She told the opening of a 3-day training workshop on child protection on Wednesday the issue of children and crime ought to be a matter of concern for all sectors of society.
Central to the fulfillment of all hopes is the question of values. Those in law enforcement, for example, are quick to point out that our fight to win the war on drugs, to control crime and violence, cannot be won only in the courtroom. We must ultimately prevail in the classroom, in the workplace, in neighborhood community organizations, and yes, in the family. Why there? Because those are the primary focal points for the nurturing and transmission of our values. And to whom? To the next generation, to our children, upon whose sense of right and wrong the quality of life for their own generation will depend, for better or for worse.
The minister spoke of the power to transmit the good and dispel the bad in our current value structure. She believes we can reduce our children's vulnerability and their predisposition to crime. She says there are far too many instances where it seems childhood is lost to gang loyalty and violence.
The juvenile crime-related activities are rising even inside the lower grade classrooms. Assaults on teachers are evident, robbery among others. Overall, elementary schools, we have some form of juvenile crimes. Just a month ago, in my neighboring constituency, Kulibistri, we had the death of a juvenile by a juvenile. And when you hear the purpose or what precipitated that crime, it is frightening to know that at this age, children are not being children anymore, but fighting for, adult activities.
She believes parents must stop being enablers of negative behavior among children.
Your children come home, juveniles maybe, a TV, they're not working anywhere, but we're happy we have that big TV. Your young girls come home with a telephone, an iPhone, and we're happy. Instead of asking them, where did they get it, we ask them to get one for us. And these are the kind of things that are going on, and it's not only in Dominica, but it's the world over.
Dominica is among 9 Caribbean countries which have signed an agreement to preserve existing preferential trade terms between their countries and the United Kingdom in the Brexit era. Given that Dominica has a historical trading relationship with the United Kingdom, it has been important for the government of Dominica since the Brexit referendum in 2016 to work with CARIFORUM to preserve our existing preferential trade terms, notwithstanding uncertainties regarding the Brexit process. The signature of the agreement safeguards the uninterrupted continuation of trade between our region and the UK and is consistent with the government's vision that trade should be one of the engines of growth. The CARIFORUM UK Economic Partnership Agreement would roll over terms of the CARIFORUM EU Economic Partnership Agreement and would therefore cover trade in goods, services and trade-related issues such as intellectual property rights. The signing took place during the 25th meeting of the CARIFORUM Council of Ministers in Castries, St. Lucia last month. The ministers also engaged in trade discussions as well as preparations for the next phase of the ACP-EU post-Cotonou arrangements. The countries which signed were Barbados, Belize, Dominica, Grenada, Guyana, Jamaica, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Lucia, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines. The remaining 6 CARIFORUM member states committed to completing their domestic procedures in short order. A reconfiguration of the Jazz and Creole Festival is on the cards for this year. Let's go back now to Andrea Louis for more.
The Discover Dominica Authority will be staging the country's 10th Jazz and Creole Festival on 5th May this year. The festival has been held at Fort Shirley in the Cabrit National Park in Portsmouth since inception. Over the years, the crowd has increased, and according to Director of Tourism Colin Piper, patrons to the festival have grown from the hundreds to the thousands over its lifespan.
The event Jazz and Creole has grown by leaps and bounds, starting with 600 patrons to over 2,500 last year. We anticipate similar crowds, and that's a testament to the residents of Dominica who have embraced this event and really continue to support it. And so we look for that support this year and ask that your messaging, your communication, your amplification of all things jazz continue and is even increased this year, as it is the 10th anniversary, and we want to continue to see the event grow.
Project Officer in the DDA, Daphne Vidal, says they are creating more space at the festival venue.
This year, what we're doing is reconfiguring the existing location that we have. So we're making a few changes in terms of stage location and all of that, so that we will have more space for the patrons. Exploring a new location for the event is not possible this year, but we are aware that the event is growing and is continuing to grow, and that is always at the forefront of our plans in organizing for the event. So this year we are doing a bit of a reconfiguration with the setup so that the space that we have will be able to accommodate more patrons.
Marketing executive in the DDA, Samantha Later, says the authority is preparing to welcome an increased number of visitors for the festival and its lead-up events, with special focus on the yachting community.
These activities, along with the main stage event, are being promoted within the Caribbean region and the French West Indies, primarily to our neighbors in St. Lucia, Barbados, Antigua, St. Martin. We have specials going on for the yachting sector. As you know, we have a very large yachting sector coming from St. Martin and also the Antigua market, and we have specials working alongside with PAYS in Portsmouth, the Association of Yachties. So the guys have come on board and they have been providing free moorings, free security, and 50% off on water for all yachts that will be coming in to the Caribbean for the event. So that is something we are definitely continuing working on.
The main stage event will take place on Sunday, 5th May, to be preceded by a week of fringe events starting on 27th April. Andrea Louis, Channel 5 News.
You are watching Channel 5 News. We'll have more after this.
Imagine you have Hollywood at your command. Introducing Flow Evil.
Red cheese, gold rings, all black, everything creeping through the night.
Anywhere you are,
Big girls don't scream hard like Halloween, make me feel alive.
there's a world of entertainment here, and you run the show. Flow Evil.
Les moun ki ni TB estene e ben tout se, moun ki en bonne santé oli wen ka respire se vermin la. Moun ki pa ni bon tempérament kon sa ki ni maladie HIV, alcool, ka fime, ti mamay e grand moun bien sensible pour ces maladies ça là. Moun ki ka tousse ni pou prendre précaution le yo en parmi moun en place publique. Couvre bouche ou le ka estene e tousse. Visitez docteur e ben place santé. Fini tout traitement yo ba ou sa joine guérison et puis maladie TB. En responsabilité ou aider du bout si men maladie TB et HIV, protéger corps et les autres.
Child protection practitioners are placing special focus on the harmonized OECS draft Children Adoption Bill or Children Care and Adoption Bill now being processed for enactment. They met on Wednesday for day one of three days of training on child protection. The idea is to help child protection practitioners sharpen their skills and knowledge.
We meet at a time when there is an urgent need in the country to pay closer and closer attention to our children, because our children, they are such a valuable resource for the nation. And what we do at this critical point in time will tell what happens in the future to our children. So there is that ongoing need to, we as practitioners coming together to understand the certain subject areas in which we are engaged in. We meet at a time, you will agree with me, when children continue to suffer in various ways. We meet at a time when children are apprehended and brought before the court, sometimes for serious offenses. And these must be concerned for the nation, because if our children are constantly being abused, and many find themselves in a court of law, that will tell later on that most valuable resource.
Participants are also expected to sharpen their knowledge on the critical role of the law in the care and protection of children. The training is being facilitated by Attorney at Law and Advocate for Child Care and Protection, Jacqueline Seeley-Burke. And media professionals in Dominica being warned to show commitment and dedication to the job at hand. The warning comes from President of the Dominica Media and Communications Association, Gavin Richards, when he addressed a recent gathering of the body.
Moving forward, I would like to see a more committed media. I know the remuneration or wages for most of us is small, and I know it can be very discouraging at times. But we also have to remember our responsibility to the public to bring credible and accurate and timely information to the public. Sometimes I hear the concerns from the public that Dominica does not have any real journalists. And while I disagree strongly with the statements, I think part of the reasoning for such remarks is that the public expects us to operate like the CNNs and the BBCs, that we should be on top of the stories regardless of the time of day or night, whether it be a weekend or holiday. And sometimes we bring this on ourselves because some of us are quick to grab our bags and head home by 5 o'clock. So once again, my friends, the media is not an 8 to 5 job. It is a demanding job.
Richards highlighted that social media is taking over traditional forms of media and practitioners must keep up with the times in order to stay relevant to the public.
So I would like to see more of us on the field on the weekends or at functions at nights during the week. Let us strive to be excellent in our field because we are facing competition, and the competition is this tool called social media. It threatens to make us obsolete because right now anyone and everybody can give the quote-unquote news as it happens, be it accurate or not. So we have to step up our game.
The DMCA president was speaking at the second AGM of the grouping and says the past year was mixed with trials and triumphs for the association.
The year 2018-2019 has been another challenging year for us media professionals, and I will say that a number of our intended goals were not accomplished for some reason or the other. But before I get to that, I would like to point out a few of the achievements of the past year. We were finally able to receive full membership from the Association of Caribbean Media Workers. However, we have not enjoyed the kind of relationship that we were anticipating, and we are hopeful that that will improve in the coming year. 2 of our members were awarded at the Independence Day Awards. Among the other achievements for 2019 was the official opening of a post office box and a bank account for the Media Association. At this point, I would like to say a special thank you to Sheena Harry, who performed beyond expectation in her role as the Public Relations Officer to get the required documents for the opening of the PO box and the bank account.
Imagine you have Hollywood at your command. Introducing Flow Evo. Anywhere you are.
Big girls don't scream hard like Halloween, make me feel alive.
There's a world of entertainment here, and you run the show. Flow Evo.
Here are some tips to reduce mosquito presence in and around your home. Keep water storage containers properly covered. Remove containers that can collect water from your surroundings. Keep garbage bins tightly covered. Pick up your litter and remove all tires from your yard. Keep gutters free of leaves and twigs to prevent stagnant water. Prevent Zika, dengue, and chikungunya. Fight the bite. This is a public service announcement from the Dominica Red Cross.
This message is supported by Flow. To end the news, a look again at the headlines. Minister for Family and Gender Affairs appeals to parents to stop enabling negative behavior in their children. 30,000 banana plantlets expected this month could help restore the acreages lost through natural disasters. And Dominica signs an agreement to preserve trade preferences with the UK. Feel free to contact us at news@mapping2k4.com. You may access our past newscasts on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the production team, I am Julian Morris. Thank you for watching. Join us tomorrow.